Welcome back to episode 3 of the Mistborn RPG. I am, of course, Arthur Perkins, the narrator for this campaign. There have been no technical issues tonight, and I totally did not just blind myself, and I'm looking in a random direction in order to pretend that I can see. Let's catch up with
Let's
everyone,
talk to everyone.
and then we'll get on to the show announcements. So let's start with my lower right-hand man, Tuxtradamus. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. I was video editors. The one that I had sucks. Because I was trying to make a little thing because my Urban Shadows thing is ready to go, and I was gonna make a little video for it, but then my video editor just didn't work, and so I'm just kind of I'm limping my way into launching it. But that's ready to go, so I'm doing good.
Excellent. All right. The man of the hour, the one around whom all of the fan fiction revolves around, Science Fraction, aka at SciFri, your new
For
Twitter
some,
handle.
I'm like, I thought you already introduced Tuxtradamus.
No, it's all you. It's all you. Yeah, I
Okay.
linked that fan art in chat just in
Yeah,
case you
that
didn't
is
Oh
see the
yeah.
new B. Curvello,
I'm loving that fan art.
B. Costa.
Everything he puts out is A plus quality.
So in case
Seriously is.
you hadn't caught that, in the background, that is Valette watching
Yep.
Vyse and Francine. Just in case you're new to the show.
Hmm.
How are you, SciFri?
I am good.
Touching any butts lately?
Touching a few butts. Been playing some Stardew Valley.
Of course, of course.
That's good.
Whose butt are you touching in that game?
Touching Abigail's butt.
That
I
pixely
cannot
butt.
believe. I was shocked during the Civ 5 game to find out the number of people that were going for Abigail.
Oh, the Abigail butt.
It's Leah right here. Boom. Got the artists. I just love artists, apparently.
I had a cat named Abigail. We got a kitten and was already named Abigail. But then when we brought it to the vet, we found out that it was a boy. So we
Oh.
changed the name to Abner Gale.
Nice. Good
That's
call.
awesome.
But yeah, other than Stardew Valley, I've been getting back into Hearthstone. They announced the new expansion coming out in late this
Yeah.
month, early next month. Whispers of the Old Gods. I'm so hyped for that.
Oh boy.
Plus, they're starting to do the what is a new format, which is basically standard from like Magic the Gathering, where like the core set and the two most recent expansions will be the only legal things to build cards out of, and that's going to be their official competitive format. So, really looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
I love me
Interesting.
some card games, man. Gonna be streaming this week too. Streaming some Hearthstone laddering. Twitch.tv/SciFri.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Kelsa, how are you doing this week? I know that you were trying to set yourself up as the winner of that Civ 5 game. And then at the time, there were a number of technical issues until the game finally just would not advance, and we had the exact same score. But you
Oh.
were, by your own testimony, poised to begin a religious jihad of murdering everyone.
I was. And that was actually really fun. I hope to be able to play Civ 5 with you again in the future because it's always interesting to meet new people and conquer them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there will be Civ 5 viewer open games this Thursday and next Thursday, so we'll see who comes and who dies.
I literally got there like 5 minutes late for the Civ 5 game, and I was so mad.
You were way more than 5 minutes late. You were 5 minutes after we started.
Look, you
But
were
we
on
started like a
turn,
half an hour late.
20, and I was like, I just want to play Japan. That's all I want.
I think I'll be playing Japan shortly
Japan
because
is great.
I was told by a viewer they were like, "This is so boring. Everyone's just making peace and being friends." I was like, you know what? You're right. I should probably just be a huge dick and attack everyone.
Yep.
So I
just
think
kill everybody.
that's my plan is to just start world wars.
Japan
Uh,
is the warmongering Civ. That is. What they
Yeah,
true.
I looked up Japan's abilities because I'd never played Japan, and that samurai
Yeah.
fishing boat, infinite life bullshit is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So, speaking of people who have amazing facial hair, like certain Japanese generals, let's talk about Virgil Evinger.
Hey guys, how's it going? I've been doing all right. Had a nice weekend of hanging out and house sitting my neighbor's cat, who's like super friendly. So that was cool. Other than that, just excited about more new upcoming games and all kinds of stuff. Nothing so steady over at twitch.tv/Zircon5, but that is where I'm streaming when I get games scraped together. Often pulling in viewers from the games, so if you're interested in jumping on some live roleplay games yourself, definitely head over to twitch.tv/Zircon5, hit me up with a follow, and you'll be able to jump in a game with me sometime. I play a lot of Dungeon World, which was written by Adam Cobell, who runs a channel here on Twitch with a large roleplay community known as mathsquad, which is being referenced in our title here today. Thought I'd just clarify a bit. Yeah, I'm super excited about tonight. Ready to see where this crazy campaign is taking us, and maybe get some revenge.
I don't know what you would need revenge for.
So to review last episode, why you might particularly like revenge, you had your party.
Yes.
It was like having your cake and eating it too. Having recovered from the slap in the face dealt to him by Valette, Wolfstrom Holstag, interrupted your party and was keenly dealt with KinSay using a series of ploy tactics to continually intercept him. Not all of them worked, but eventually he was forced away from the zone. Valette and Vyse spent their time aiding in their superiors' conflicts and dealing with their own, namely Francine. Oh, Francine.
I basically made everybody horny.
Yeah, you kept using the lustfulness aspect of your zinking to zink it up constantly. And Odalys constantly attempting to deflect Postwick, who we've determined has a very punchable face. Postwick from delving too deep into certain matters, making sure Postwick wants to buy particular ska servants. Got into a negotiation series with him on a balcony at night in the mists, and he did the God, what was that guy's name from 300? The bad villain dude.
No.
The tall guy?
Yeah, not Leonidas, the other one. Jesus.
Oh yeah. I forgot his name.
I'm terrible.
Yeah, but he
Shit,
did
I
that
always
thing
thought-
where he was like, "They do not fear; they feel my divine power." Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, go with me. I've got lots of money. I got lots of power. Here, let me sign some contracts." And Odalys is like, "But maybe we should make out instead." And he was like, "Let's do that. But also, I need you to sign this contract."
Yeah,
Man, I feel
that
really bad.
happened.
Yeah.
What
Yep,
was
yep,
his
yep.
name?
So, if I recall correctly, we're
Xerxes.
basically
Jesus.
lost all of our servants for our whole household.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
As
Most
part
like
of your
Evelyn
as part of
Gates.
your breather, I did say it was going to be a week, but instead it's going to be a month to represent campaigning around the city, recovering from your burdens. Your standings and influence and all of your stats are restored over long breathers, and so you have your servants back. Not the same servants, new servants.
Yeah.
And specifically, your house is a little understaffed, and you're working on getting your plantation ska back. As you took a serious hit there. And so, Valette and Vyse's father might be in a bit of trouble, since without ska, it's going to be real hard to make those quotas.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Can manage.
Wow. Okay. Well, we know how you feel about
He can
your
get
old
out there
dad
with the
now.
ska and get his hands dirty.
Yeah.
Dig up some tubers. I don't know what we eat.
Leeks and turnips and whatever.
Obviously, parsnips.
Parsnips.
So many parsnips.
Harvested right
Garlic
here
for
in Stardew
days.
Valley.
Garlic for days.
Let's see here. Okay, so as a result of the vote from last week, which was, I forget what the vote was now. Okay. But KinSay and Odalys were joint winners with 7 votes each. So they will
Awesome.
each get 1 extra advancement. I forgot to mark down the role-playing advancement, so everyone gets 2 from that. I think I told everyone to do that before the show.
Yep.
Is there any more advancing anyone would like to do before we go into the next phase of play?
No, I think I will save because I only
Yeah.
have 4 advancements, so that's not enough yet.
That brings me to 5, but I don't think I want to use them either.
I'm the same way.
I need 6 to be able to do anything interesting.
All right. And someone had an interesting thought about Odalys, by the way, is that you can store traits using your copper mine. And the fact that she's vapid, that means that all the time she should be vapid. That's her normal resting state. And so someone was suggesting that she just moves it in and out of the copper mine constantly whenever she needs it. That she purposely learned to be like that. So I want to thank the anonymous suggestee from YouTube who is like, listen, I don't want to give my name. And I was like, well, it's your username on YouTube, so I know who it is. But he's like, just make sure that Kelsa knows. And I forgot about it until right now. So
Good, thank you.
anonymous.
All right, that's how it works then.
Because some of us don't know how to play this game. Mostly me.
I think you know how to play it slightly better than some of us, such as me.
Constantly checking the book.
It's a big book, too. It's like 800 pages.
Bread bowls. Jesus. That
I mean,
bread bowl
like,
thing is never
I
gonna
read the
die.
Shadowrun 5 rulebook, so
Oh, yeah, Shadowrun 5. Oh, let me tell you about that.
I will
one.
get
Kelsa
you
was
to
there.
appreciate Shadowrun 5 yet. It's a good book as long as you have Run and Gun, Run Faster, and Street Grimoire as supplements.
So the vote this week is going to be which character sacrificed the most for the group, aka the Team Player Award. So, if you are at home, keep an eye out for who you believe most matches that. Or, if you don't give a shit, just vote for whoever the hell you want to get an extra advancement. I feel like some people have told me that that's the way they vote. They're just like, yeah, I just vote for X person every week. Normally, since he's on every show that have votes, Virgil is the name that's named. They're just like, yeah, I just vote for Virgil every week. It doesn't matter. Which is okay, because honestly, in Mere Shades, I just voted for Night Sass in every category. So I understand wanting to do that. Yeah.
I love those
Remember,
votes. Keep them
a
coming.
vote for Valette is the best one yet.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So bad.
Wow.
Show's over. Go home.
Remember to vote for Odalys, or she will kill you and have you replaced by a shapeshifter.
It happens
Let's
way
workshop.
more
Let's
often than you
workshop that a little bit.
You should probably vote for me if you, I don't know, go for it.
We're gonna send that to the spin team. We're gonna spin it around a bit, and then we'll
Exactly.
put it back out there.
All right.
Make that into a slogan.
So, to jump right back into this, let's talk about doing schemes. Your current scheme is no longer relevant. I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah.
So we're going to ask some questions. The book recommends that we take 15 minutes to do a new scheme and then 15 minutes to do a new plan of action. I know that there was some talk about doing some in-character roleplay about the plan of action, perhaps. But let's get the framework in place before we get there. So question 1, what's your new goal? Also, who wants to be the ideologist who writes these things down?
Who wrote the last plan?
I'm going to say Tux. Let's just
Okay.
have Tux write it.
Sure.
Tux.
Been
Thank you.
voluntold, Tux.
Yeah, Tux is the gopher. So, what's the new goal?
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead, Kels.
no, please. I was
We need to topple some of these people. We tried to get stuff done. Stuff didn't really happen the way we wanted it to. We need to be aggressive. Be aggressive.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think our real target is Postwick.
Mm-hmm. And I think, I've been dealing with this guy for 10 years now. And
He's
yeah,
never
maybe it's
wanted
time.
your wife until now.
Yeah, and now things are getting personal. I didn't like him beforehand because he's
Yeah.
super punchable. But now the punching is getting closer to happening, I think.
So is our goal to take down Postwick Chorbina?
Yeah. Or at the
Okay.
very least,
Yeah,
break
that's a very broad,
each
nice.
other before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take
That's
him
a
down.
very
Take him
broad.
down,
That's a
man.
very specific goal, actually.
Yeah, it's no longer taking down its house. It's him. It's
Yeah, it's
personal.
just him
It's him.
personally.
I mean, can we just kill him? Because that's a lot easier.
So taking him down and killing him is extremely specific. Taking him down gives you a lot of leeway.
That's true, because that could be killing him, or it could be something else.
Yeah. Okay.
He's going down though. Down for sure.
What is your method here? And just to give you some possible methods: theft, seduction, diplomacy, turning one side against another, coercion. You can see the full list in the book, but I think you guys might have a good idea of what you want to do. So, how do you want to do it?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
So tell me what
house
you want.
warfare is like a thing that happens.
Yeah, you want to open up a noble war.
Yeah.
We're not in the best position to do that now that we lost a lot of our ska. But
Eh, but we
But do
have
we
a
still
couple
have our, like,
haze
guard
killers,
skillers?
right?
Yeah.
yeah, true.
And you have a couple mistings.
And what's his name? Venture Bro is kind of on our
Our
side.
venture.
Yeah.
Ooh, we could try to get some assistance. But what we need to do is first make a big scandal and make it look like we're totally righteous in what we're
I'm
doing.
into the turning one side against each other thing. So maybe if we get Holstag to be angry at Postwick.
Wolf from
I like
Holstag.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
they're
Get
all
them
buddy
to fight
buddy.
each other.
He's
So,
also a complete asshole. So
Yeah, exactly.
if they can take each other out, then it's just win-win.
Yeah, we turn them against each other, and then we pick.
Snipe the
We
weaker
just
ones.
pick 'em off,
Saddles
yeah.
over.
Group up all of their holdings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coolio.
What is standing in your way of completing this goal?
The loss of most of our ska, I would say, is a big thing.
Let's see, what's gonna stop us from turning them against each other?
So
I mean, we weren't.
Yeah, like here are some options. I'll just throw them out. House guards, another crew, a well-guarded estate. Haze killers, incompetent leadership, political opponents. Those are some. Oh, obligator. I mean, I'm just gonna throw that one out there because that's that's one that probably will show up, whether you want it to or not. The obligators have been sniffing at your butt for a while.
Obligators.
So what's standing in our way really is peace.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No,
That's accurate.
the city isn't ready to go to war then. Interesting. Yeah, because if you're the one that makes the first move, you're the one that gets stepped on, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So we need a violent, environment.
I would say
so
that they definitely would have a well-guarded house as well.
Mm-hmm.
If they managed to stay in the city despite their financial straits.
So yeah, what's standing in our way is that we need. Let's see. I mean, also just
turning-
reality. We need to twist reality around so that people turn against each other.
Right.
So what's standing in our way? Like, things like the truth would be standing in our way.
Yep. I mean, the truth.
I mean, the establishment, right? Like, there's no house war.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
starting a house war is going to make you the nail that gets hammered down.
Well, the point is if we're going to start a house war, we're not going to actually be involved in the house war. The
Interesting.
trick is to start a house war between those two
Yeah.
houses.
And then
Well,
it's like
no.
okay to join if we need to.
They'll start it and we'll finish it.
Yeah. I think would the fact that both of them don't like us be something that's kind of standing in our way because it's going to be difficult to.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
have no influence with either of them.
Yeah.
You've insulted Wolfram, and you basically did the submission before Postwick. Like, Postwick thinks he owns you now.
Yeah.
Well, that
Which
might
that could
give
be a
us an
tool,
in.
but
He could be a tool.
right.
You know what else could be a tool? Postwick. Boo!
Oh, so real. I mean, yeah.
Nailed it.
Wolfram is in our way. We need him to start aggressions.
He already seems pretty volatile. I think using him won't be too difficult, but
Calling a soother volatile. It's like the exact opposite of what he does. Yeah, so
So bad.
so I have obligators, peace between houses, the truth, lack of influence with either house.
all of them come down to the establishment. Like,
Yeah.
that's what's standing in your way is the established peace.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Okay, cool.
obligators enforce that.
Cool.
What's your in? What do you do? Who do you go to? Where do you go
Oh,
to
that's
get this
obvious.
plan started? Like,
Is it
what's the opening battle here?
I think what we need to do is to get I'm spacing on her name now. What's her name?
Francine?
Francine?
Francine. Yeah, get Francine on our side. She seems to like the twins, and I think we can use that to our advantage.
I have a question. You might know that out of character, but in character, how much have Valette and Vyse
Vyse.
shared
No,
with
that's okay.
Odalys?
That's
like,
smush.
No, that's true.
That's Smush Twins' name.
I'm
Yeah.
so this is an
It's like
out of
Sam
character
Nerick
discussion.
from Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
This is an out of character discussion, as is the
Right.
plan. But I am curious how much they shared in character.
I feel like Vyse would try to talk about it as little as possible, so Valette would be the one doing
And
the
I
shit.
feel like Valette's the exact opposite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She would be like, "Oh my
And
god,
I
it
would
was
be
so
prodding
adorable."
after that party.
Okay,
You know.
all right. So you get the gift of gab from Valette.
Oh yeah, totally.
The power hungry party girl is just like, hey guys, Francine.
Well, she just thinks it's hilarious and just wants to see where that's gonna go, and so she probably was just totally just like, "No, yeah,
And
you should have
then-
seen it. It was amazing."
Oh, was it
And then
Postwick?
Odalys is like, you know where it could go? It could go with her coming to our side and undermining Postwick.
Mhm. So I think it
So-
sounds like it.
Your
Would the
in
fa-
is Francine. How do you intend to get her on your side?
Yeah, because to do that, we're gonna have to basically make her think that her family, she should like us more than her own family,
Mm-hmm.
and she should be on our side rather than her own family's side. So
I think Valette knows her pretty well. They're good friends, right?
Right.
Is there anything that Valette would know that would turn her against them? Whether it's true or not?
She does. She is kind of like Valette and her are pretty similar, actually. They're both very much like rebellious and like against, like kind of against the establishment-ish kind of thing. So if we can kind of convince her that they're doing all these bad things and trying to do, and we're like trying to stop them, or like phrasing it differently, or like just like get her to think that her house is against her, or against like something that her house is doing that she is completely against, and we can convince her that we want to stop them and we want to take them over, and we're the good guys, or like, or we're the lesser of two evils, or however.
Sorry, that's not funny.
Don't you know that a British officer in the service must always choose the lesser of two evils? I love that movie. So good. So your in is convince Francine that you are more on her side than House Trelbina.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
How, I guess, and then how?
Yeah, maybe
how
we
would,
like plant some false evidence that they, maybe she's being like cut out of like inheritance, or like in some being slighted.
something like that, where like they're like so they like almost like almost like they're done with her, or something like that. Like they know, maybe, well, she is basically a Pokéleaf addict. And so if like maybe like, oh well, they know, and that they're cutting you out of everything.
Okay. All right. Write that down.
Turn
That
both
sounds
sides
like you're
against
in.
each other. We could make it sound like, maybe like Holstag is bringing in like to basically replace her, and then that'll go sour. And
Maybe, yeah, maybe we make it look like the obligators are going to like pass a law, making it like a huge offense to be caught.
Pokéleafing.
Yeah, Pokéleafing. So they'd be like wanting to distance themselves and be like, "Look, she's an addict. We can't have her around."
So, what do you have to work with? And since it sounds like you want to set up trail work for maybe a fake law, or perhaps even an actual law, I would think Vyse's massive influence is one way, since influence is one of the ways you can set up laws. By massive influence, I mean most of you generally suck at it.
Well, massive influence and even more massive resources and reputation.
Yeah, your resources is actually really big.
Yeah, your resources is where it's at. You can probably like bribe an obligator to put a law in place. But yeah, what assets do you have to call upon to get this plan done? Remember that convincing Francine is only the first part of it. Taking down Post-Rook Trelbina is the whole goal. So what do you have that will help you do that?
And then I think if we can get it set up properly, me being a rioter could also really, really help. Because we're trying to flare up those emotions and then just get someone to declare a war.
Yeah.
You can't call upon yourself as an asset. You already have that.
I did this last time too.
Yeah. So examples of possible assets that you can use to help.
Could we have like an obligator buddy? Is that like a thing?
Yeah. So one of them is like a sympathetic soldier who can unlock a door.
Sympathetic obligator.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have an obligator in mind.
Because I don't think obligators like us too much.
Yeah, most of the obligators don't, but let's talk about where did I put his name down here? I had an obligator I wanted to throw into the game at some point. Trell 1 is the guy that you... Okay, so, yeah, Obligator Seragius of the Canton of Finance is probably someone you... Specifically, Vyse works a lot with.
Yeah,
he's a money guy.
Especially since he's finance and not orthodoxy.
Yeah, he's definitely less about making sure you stop doing the Pokéleaf and come to worship services every day, and more about making sure you pay your taxes, and you guys are really good at paying your taxes.
Yeah, we are.
The only thing for that.
Oh, yeah.
the only thing we're good at. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
I got that tax game down.
So yeah, one of your things you have to work with is a sympathetic obligator. Do you have
Cool.
anything else?
We have the fact that Francine clearly has an interest in Vyse.
Yeah.
Use that to our advantage.
Yeah, no, put that down there. I actually already
You're putting
People
down.
who watch the GM tournament may know there's more to it than just that. But yeah, for now you can just write down that Francine X Vyse is a thing. It's a little bit more complicated than that.
No.
Oh yes.
What?
You mean to tell
Complicated?
me that the GM is hiding things from me?
Narrator.
Yeah.
Secret.
He's the narrator.
I feel like with this short show we're doing, I'm getting rushed into doing all my evil super quickly.
That was something I wanted to talk about. I know Virgil didn't get a chance to chime in yet, but we are looking at extending the show. We're looking into it because we know how fucking popular this is for you guys and amazing artists and everyone being awesome. So it might have to move to another night. We're figuring it out. We know that you like it.
We do. We listen. We care.
Unlike
Much more than our characters. Yeah, exactly. Much more than our
your
characters.
Much
We
We're
are
all
actually the good
apathetic,
guys.
noble asses.
Whether our characters are the good guys is a whole other thing.
So Francine's heart is something that you have. Do you have any other assets? 2 to 3 is really a solid number there.
We still have most of our like military strength, don't
Yeah,
we?
you didn't
Yeah.
lose any house guards, and you
Yeah.
still have a squad of haze killers.
Mhm.
And using your influence, you could definitely attempt to summon up more guardsmen or just buy more.
Yeah,
Mhm.
with the resources.
Yeah, we really haven't seen much use of standings beyond it being used offensively by
Yeah.
Postwick. The players have mainly been using charm and wits
Yeah.
constantly.
Maybe.
Very charming.
Yep.
Well,
Very witty.
I'm
Right.
not very charming or witty, but I got the resources and influence.
I'm a very dialogue heavy role player, so I'm when rules all of a sudden expand all these other choices to me, I
You're like,
Don't
I
take
don't
advantage of
let
that.
hire soldiers. Who does that? You have to convince the soldiers to join you through an hour-long speech, walking along the
and
battle.
then I have to roll a terrible roll and fail completely.
Yeah. So, any more assets you want to grab?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything else we have.
Yeah, let's. I'd say having we can hire more guards since we've had a month. We'll kind of be buffing out the ranks in
Yeah, I wrote down the 3.
expecting. Yeah, expecting.
Oh, so
Fight.
you've hired some more house guards and haze
Yeah.
killers in preparation.
Mhm.
Interesting.
We have like a strike force.
All right.
Obstinately, it's because we have new ska and we need to make sure they're being kept in line.
Oh, of course. That makes perfect sense. Everyone will believe that story.
Yep.
Exactly.
What don't you know? What purposeful blind spots do we want to build into this scenario so that I can shatter it with an ice pick?
Well, I thought of one off the top of my head is that we have no real idea like what Postwick and Holfstack have been doing together. We just know that they are friends and have dealings.
Well, we mostly know that there are enemies, not necessarily that they are friends. But
Mm.
I think that was exactly what I was going to say. We don't really know their interpersonal.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're not in the loop of the house politics.
Right. I
between
mean,
the
if one
major
of them is
houses.
actually ripping the other one off, and we can just figure that out, that'd be great.
But that's not a weak point of the plan. That would be a strong point of the plan.
And the whole Stack
I
and Trevina
don't-
relationship.
But
rely
not
on
not knowing the relationships is a weak point right there.
Yeah.
So you can definitely throw that down. Any other weak points you want to throw in?
I guess should we put down that we? Well, no, I guess we put it on
Jesus,
there.
I love chat right here. I like this plan of exploiting the young girl. It feels like a good and fair approach for the greater good, to be sure.
It worked so well
Okay.
last time.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Uh,
The greater good of House Martell. Um,
Yeah,
let's
I
see.
mean, they're going to help those ska. Just as soon as they reach the top, they'll help those ska out.
exactly. Exactly.
It's
Once
so
I
can't do-
have
not gonna
the ear of the Lord Ruler,
happen.
then everything is going to be great.
We can't do anything from here.
Obviously, we need to make it to the capital.
Look, you got to break a few eggs, and then you get a nice omelet.
Yeah, and you feed that omelet to the other eggs.
And then we're gonna give you an omelet. Don't you want a nice omelet, Iska? Come on.
So let's talk about things that you don't know still before we get too silly.
Okay, so we don't know, like what the reaction is going to be for for fighting. There's no warfare going on right now. You said.
So we don't
Can we
know what the
expand that,
reaction
actually?
of the other houses.
Yeah,
is.
so one of the things you might not know is the reaction of other houses to your hiring more guards.
Yeah, and like venture, like what
Yeah.
what are people saying about us, especially after the party, and
Yeah.
now we've had to hire up all new ska, and we just while we were at it hired a bunch of phase
Because
goers.
I would have.
So that's even farther. Yeah, that's like an even wider view. I like that. That you don't know what your reputation is now. You don't know where you stand in the city, given that you're hiring new guards and you just got the shit kicked out of you in the political arena.
Yeah.
People can probably guess just by looking at them that we hired these ska to be guards and not servants.
I mean, yeah, house guards specifically, you hire them and you train them on like metal weapons. So,
Yeah. I mean,
you've
they're
got plenty
probably
of
looking
servants
for
now,
more-
like working your hall, but you definitely have dudes walking your battlements with like crossbows and shit.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
there
we
anything
could
else
put
you want to
that-
add there? I feel like those two are very solid.
Yeah, I think so.
Sometimes Tux
Yeah.
likes to throw a curveball.
No, I think that's good.
All right.
Well, in chat, Rika pointed out that we don't know what Francine truly wants or her angle.
You could include that, but I
We're including
wouldn't
her
worry
as
too
an
much
asset.
I was
about
thinking about
include-
that, but since we-
that's
since we
already
u-
going to be a thing I'm going to be working on.
Right. Like I thought about that, but since we already put it as we consider it a strong point right now, since we think she likes him.
Right, definitely.
So I guess that whether that is true or not could be
Only time will tell.
what could go wrong.
Could possibly go wrong.
Well, one thing could go wrong. Trollbina could just crush Holstag
Hashtag.
and just end up on top.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We need to make
Or even
sure.
or even the other way, like what could just be one house just dominates the war and we don't get a
I
chance
think
to
that's still
swoop
part
in.
of the fact that you don't really know what the political situation is.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
not. That's just a simple expansion
But
of
yeah.
the.
Part of the plan is definitely going to have to be making sure both of them can at least put up a fight with each other.
All right,
So I guess-
what could go wrong? Is that
Well,
what
we
we're
could could get found either planting false information or false, actual evidence.
false actual evidence?
Like if we need to, we might go put documents that have been forged.
So
somewhere.
that's not what you don't know. That's what.
That's what could go wrong, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're finished with what we don't know. We were looking into what could go wrong.
So what
I
could
thought-
go wrong is your plan to like use the obligators as a cat's paw could definitely explode in your face,
Yeah.
crippling you forever.
I
Should
mean,
be fine.
forever is a really long time.
If you mess with the obligators, they're gonna mess with you.
No, we're gonna make a
think that's
cozy
smart.
deal with the obligator.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure the obligators will definitely work with you, and nothing
Look,
bad
when I
will ever
show
happen.
the harm that this drug is doing, and then also show him the pile of boxings that I have for him, he will surely help us in our dire need.
Yeah, and then I guess
So I'm not putting that under what
Um,
could go wrong.
So
Nothing could possibly go wrong.
what could go wrong?
Yeah. Okay. So obligator could right away just be like,
yeah. And then I think us like something happening where we don't get the chance to make our move when if say the war does start and like something happens where we don't get to make our move or something like that, like
Someone
the whole
else
point
swoops in.
yeah, like we miss our
So
opportunity.
like the
Like,
fall of Trelbina may give someone else an opportunity to rise instead of you.
yeah,
Yeah.
someone else could take our opportunity for themselves.
Okay. Assuming everything goes perfectly to plan, what comes next? If this plan goes down, what happens?
I think our next move would probably be trying to, if we successfully topple Holstag and Trelbina in one fell swoop, house war goes on, and we end up on the top. I think our next move is looking at external deals with other noble houses outside of the city. Probably get some contacts in Luthadel.
Yeah.
So it's finally time to start that Luthadel expansion of the family
Actually expand to
business.
Luthadel is
Yeah.
for what
Okay.
comes next.
All right. So, let's start on the plan of action. And here's what we've got so far. Man, I'll probably have to zoom in to get that on the stream. But yeah.
Okay.
Objective 1 is the same thing as question 4. So your first objective is you're in. So you need to convince Francine that her house is cutting her off.
Yep.
Yep.
Your
Put that
final
right
objective, what comes
5.
next is lay groundwork for move to Luthadel. So what do you need to do in between objective 1 and objective 5 to get to Luthadel and destroy Posthook Trelbina in the process?
Oh, that's weird.
Okay. So once we have Francine on our side, then we can use her to get some secrets from you know,
Trelbina,
about
general
Trelbina.
secrets.
General Trelbina secrets or specific Postwick secrets.
Exploit, yeah. So like exploit Trelbina's
So rather than
secrets.
exploit them, the first thing you have to do is learn them, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like your first objective is to figure out what's going on with Holstag and Trelbina.
Know the enemy, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I feel like the name of the house keeps changing the way it's spelled.
I heard Trelbina first, and I've just been always writing that, and then I never.
The way I have it spelled is Trelbina.
Okay,
Trelbina.
I'll change
That's
that.
how we've been pronouncing it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Tux has to go back and literally change everything.
I got it.
Yeah, he's got it. So that says learn the secrets of House Trelbina. Is it just Trelbina you're looking for, or is it also Holstag? Because that's two very different things.
I mean, Holstag is kind of a
Bonus.
tool we're using that,
Yeah.
that might be like, if we like break this tool, that's actually great. But
Okay.
it's fine if it doesn't.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways to do that. One would be informants, and the other would as you are clearly attempting to do, get Francine on your side. Assuming you do get the secrets of Trelbina and Holstag, what's objective 2? What's the
Right,
next
there are
step?
like information brokers in this. I forgot.
Oh yeah, they're both Ska and Noble information brokers that are just looking for cash.
We need
And
to.
then
We need to. The next step, once we know those secrets, is to plant either the truth or lies that will spark a fight between these two houses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So objective 2
I mean-
is to lay some political groundwork for a
I mean,
battle.
yeah, and political, yes. I might even have to go and like impersonate someone and do some violence.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
time to come out of that bag of bones then.
Mmm. Delicious,
Okay.
delicious violence.
All right. Yep. Lay political groundwork for the House Wars.
Perfect.
And then
I think that objective 3 should be we like pressure the obligators to keep a close eye on Trelbina and Hofstag.
yeah, use that obligator friend we have.
Yeah, I think we should just mainly concentrate on. I don't want to put too much pressure on him. If
I
we can
think-
get him to pass the like law that's in our favor, that we can start using as a way to wedge Francine away from her family.
Well, we would already have Francine away from her family by that point in the timeline. I think.
You're hoping. Yeah.
Well,
Well, then
in theory.
would lay political groundwork be objective 3 and objective 2 be persuade Francine?
Well,
Well- Persuading Francine is like the very first thing.
Oh, right.
It's part.
That's
I
the
guess.
end.
So, is part of learning the secrets of Trelbina and Holstag is that getting Francine on your side? I mean, you could go
Yeah.
for grabbing an informant, but definitely the nut you're trying to crack is Francine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of in number 1 there.
All right, interesting. Is 2 still the same then? It's still lay political groundwork for House Wars.
I think
In
so.
this case, you're going to be using obligators to do that.
I think so.
Okay.
And I think the next step is actually stand back and let the house work go.
Wait for our
without-
chance,
without-
basically.
Without being
Yeah.
involved in it.
Well, I
To
mean,
keep
I
our-
definitely think we need to jump in at the end and be like,
Yeah.
look, we've conquered
Yeah.
this
I guess
person
step
and we're
3
taking
is
over
just
their
cover
house.
our tracks then.
Yeah, cover our tracks. Let the war play.
Yeah, cover our tracks and then jump in like right at the end and be like, look, we're here to we're gonna take over all
We're the
their
United
holdings.
Nations peacekeeping force.
Yes. That's
I love how
Yeah.
Virgil has like a cup of tea. He's like, yes, of course. We're here to
Oh,
help you.
I'm here to help. Yes.
I heard you were having trouble crushing Trelbina, old boy. Well, it turns out I have a fresh group of guards.
Freedom fighters, they are.
Is that the end? I mean, is that the final step? Or is there more objectives to taking down Postwick personally?
Kill him.
Make sure
Fucking
that
murder him.
make sure that he doesn't survive the house war. Is that
Yeah.
would we like that to be part of it?
So my question is, does that come
or
before
arrested.
or after swooping in to cover the house wars?
That would come before, I think, because it's definitely we want to snipe him in the midst of the chaos.
Would it just be? So would it
Oh
be?
yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll. Yeah. Can you guys go on like an assassin mission, like during the?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
So is
we
our
haven't
real-
seen much
Okay.
combat yet. We haven't
So is our
seen
real
much
objective to
physical-
see Holstag win the war?
Well, first off, you're
if-
assuming
if-
that Holstag and Trelbina are going to be the two opponents here.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be that.
Not like other
I mean,
classes we don't know about.
In a perfect world, they would both lose.
In the perfect
It would
world.
be that Holstag is completely weakened, Trelbina is weakened. We swoop in, take over House Trelbina, and be like, we saved Holstag. They were obviously getting wiped out. We're taking all the holdings from Trelbina. They can't have any.
Exactly.
They're lucky they're alive.
So the way to do that is the same way Postwick did it to you, which is to engage in enough social combat to reduce him into disgrace and force him to take a mortal burden of.
Which you do with swinging with your influence, right?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the ways you can do it. Another way is through duels. You could do physique versus physique with social combat as the arena. If you could somehow force him into a duel, someone with
Oh,
good
man.
physique could battle him.
Someone someone who may have had their honor besmirched by him doing things with his wife. I mean, that
Not
might be
that I've
grounds for
been
a
thinking
duel.
about this for the last week and a possible way to get KinSay's best stat on the field, but yeah.
So then, so we have cover our tracks and swoop in at the end of the war. Do we have something before or after that?
We have,
Taking out
Okay.
Postwick sounds like.
So, you're saying that would be like a thing to do though
after the
before
war, I think.
or after? That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Because
So
it
you
sounded
wanna-
like something
you
we
wanna
want to do
take out-
before to
you
get
want
him.
to physically kill Postwick after the war.
Well, no, we were going to physically kill Postwick during the war and
Okay.
then duel Hofstag for the power and holdings afterwards.
Okay, so objective 3 is kill Postwick. Objective 4 is to swoop in, and objective 5 is to duel
Whomever.
Wolfram.
Yeah. Duel
Okay.
whoever's left for control over the
There's
holdings.
certainly no way that can ever end poorly.
No, of course not. It's a
You guys are
flawless
putting a
plan.
lot of faith in physical abilities, but we haven't actually seen you fail at that yet. So, and you can certainly divert from these objectives at any time.
It's the only kind of combat we haven't seen yet, so might as well go for it.
Oh, there's all sorts of combat we haven't seen. We haven't seen torture yet.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, we've seen social and mental conflict.
Oh,
so-
you mean overall? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we haven't
Okay,
seen
so,
any fisticuffs, any bullion. All right.
So we just
We've got
so yeah,
five
just to,
objectives. Do we feel
yeah,
like
to run through it just to be sure. We have learned the secrets of House Drabina and Holstag, lay political groundwork for the House Wars, take care of Postwick, cover our tracks and swoop in at the end of the war, and then duel Wolfram when he's weak after the war.
That sounds pretty good.
Okay.
I do think I want, like, as part of the plan that I want to use my shape shifting and like.
that's not an objective though? That's
Yeah.
I mean,
Right,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
something
I'm
we
just
can
saying as a
start
scene.
out with. If you guys want to take 5 to 10 minutes real quick discussing the plan in character,
yeah.
that would be a thing we should do now.
Imagine if we
Because
have
if
like
you
our
want to bring that into the plan, that means you need to tell your niece and nephew about who you really are.
I mean, he's closer to them than the actual.
I know that's
Hmm.
But yeah, let's. Is there a war room that you, maybe Evelyn, maybe Gare, are in where you're
We so
where you're
have a
like
war.
secretly plotting the downfall of Postwick Trelbina, that ass?
Yeah, our war room is definitely adjacent to our barracks, I would bet.
Sure.
So Evelyn
Tell me
is
what it
probably
looks like.
there.
Give me some details here.
All right,
we have
so
a
you probably
giant big ass
got
table.
big ass
course.
table, map of
Yeah.
the city laid out on it, little
Is it like
flags everywhere.
Dragon Age Inquisition
It's
style?
no, I was thinking more like Skyrim. How when you go
Oh.
into the Stormcloak
Yeah, the
castle,
Stormcloaks.
they got that big war table with all the towns like flagged, and that's kind of what we have.
Oh, so there's like flags that show the
Yeah,
individual houses.
like there's flags that like Postwick and Holstag, and then
Maybe the Postwick one just has like a pile of poop next to it.
there's a dick drawn on it.
There's a dick drawn on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
Valette was in charge of creating the flags, so she has like little stupid drawings of each of them on it, like really, really insulting drawings.
Ah, yes, of course, the Kelsier method.
Here's the RB assholes.
Missouri. Yeah, Missouri from Calamity series. Barry Sanderson. Okay. Yeah. So maybe in the dimly flickering torchlight, do we see Evelyn
Yeah,
and Gare? Are they there?
How
Do
old
you
are the
bring
twins?
your ska into
19.
Yeah,
No, I don't think they're in on this portion of the plan.
Okay. Then let's talk about it. Walk me through the plan in character.
I would say that we have Evelyn as our security outside the door.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
We
it's
could
the
show
first
no
scene
one's
that we
listening.
get Evelyn wearing so unlike Francine, who wears like kind of military dress, this is Evelyn wearing actual military dress. Wearing like leather armor and carrying a wooden shield and a like dueling cane with stone and band on the end of it. And then the camera goes through the door, and we see the four of you standing around this war table. Maybe a drop of sweat on KinSay's brow.
Yeah. And maybe like we were just going over the holdings of our new, ska that we've got in, and the new haze killers.
Yeah. Probably see like Vyse in the corner of a room with like the ledger going through it.
He's got his own little desk or table or something.
Exactly. All the paperwork for finances and holdings.
Wouldn't be the first Sanderson novel to end with victory through taxes.
Now look, it's very important that we get rid of House Trilbina. And Postwick has dealt a severe blow to our house. And I cannot stand for it any further. And I think you agree, husband, yes?
Yes, he's definitely overstepped his bounds and will pay the price. Now, we've done a great job of shoring up our losses, but we can't afford this type of thing to happen again. And also, going directly after another house in the current climate politically is not the best idea.
I agree. I think that perhaps our best bet would be to set some other houses against him. Hofstag has volunteered himself, I think. If we
I wouldn't
can...
mind seeing them rough each other up, no.
Yeah, that guy's an asshole. If we can get rid of him, I'm all for that.
Valette, my dear, your little friend, Francine, yes?
Yeah.
Maybe we can get her to join us here.
I look over at Vyse and just grin.
Just shakes his head no. Goes back into the paper.
What? She seems like a reasonable woman. Seems in the wrong house already as it is. Pulling her away from her family would be a blessing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's pretty easy to convince. And, yeah, I think she'd be willing to help us out if we can get her if we can make it worth her while.
We definitely need to be getting a little bit more information about the relationship that the two houses have right now. And I'm a little worried about what they've been telling other houses in the city, especially after the debacle at the dance we held.
I mean, when they made out?
Yes, that's...
That never happened. There was no making out.
It was close. It was close between you two.
My pardon. Now, I think that perhaps our goal should be to get some information then. We've been out of the political circles for too long, trying to restore our ska, and you haven't even attended a single dance. Yeah. Sorry, that was cat problems.
Oh, I know about cat problems. Hashtag cat butt.
Hashtag cat butt.
You have not even attended a single dance in this last month. You're supposed to be our ears out in the city.
I had to get the ash off of all my dresses. Now that they're clean, I'll go to some dances, sure.
Yes, we definitely need you out and about. Although, even with your talents, mere words might not be enough to incite violence between the two. I hope you don't think, nephew and niece, that a little violence on our part to get things started wouldn't be out of order. We are in quite a dire situation as a house.
I turn and smile and nod approvingly.
Yes. Yes, violence.
If Postwick
not a problem at all.
tries to get that niece of his to go after me again, then my intentions of him might become a bit more murderous.
Yeah,
you guys were cute together.
I'm like trying not to smile in character. I'm just like, excellent. Like, I've always been very proud of both of you. I remember the first time I saw you both.
Like
That
I,
must have
I
been.
like I
Yeah,
like
go
when
ahead.
you say that, like I don't know if the two of you noticed, but I swallow hard and turn a little bit pale.
Yeah, and I like look over and I say, "How long ago was that, my dear? 10 years?"
Just about that, yes.
And I turn and look at the two of you. I want to. Oh, let me get actually the Skype up in case you're making facial expressions. Yeah, what is your like direct reaction when I tell you that I remember meeting you for the first time 10 years ago?
Hmm.
I think just a little confused. Like, I mean, didn't I don't know? I guess meeting us as babies was probably didn't count. So yeah, I mean, I guess 10 years ago, sure, when we moved here.
Yes, so that is as far back as you can remember. It is odd to me because I've spent much time doing some work for your aunt. Mainly pretending to be her husband.
You
You
guys
just hear
aren't
like the
actually.
sound of like a book
Like-
closing.
Or does it like fall? Do you like drop
It falls out of my hands. It's on
Yeah.
the floor. It's just boom.
My name is
I-
KinSay,
I'm like
and
looking
I'm a
at the two of
Khandra.
you, like I'm very like I'm like ready to like I need to know what your reaction is, but you can tell like I'm really nervous about this.
What? Like you guys aren't actually married?
Would we know what a Khandra is out of character?
Yeah, there'd be
Probably.
like scary stories about
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
hear
like-
when you were a kid of like people of
Yeah,
Khandras like eating
mist
people.
wraiths. Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine it's like Cold War-ish kind of thing. Like, oh, the Russians could be anywhere.
Yeah.
You could,
Or
your
like
neighbor could be a Russian spy.
or like a vampire. You're like
Yeah, something like that. Like,
your uncle, like IRL, tells you he's actually a vampire. Um
yeah.
Look, there
So-
was
Yeah.
a death in the family was at a bad time for your aunt, and she did the right thing in calling upon the services of a Khandra to take the place of your dear uncle. Now, as long as you've known me, I have served well, served better than any in this entire family, for my devotion is pure, and you can always trust me to do the right thing for this household.
I think Valette like she was like leaning like doing like the kind of like leaning against the wall with her leg up, and then she puts both feet on the ground and like sits, like leans up from it, so she's like standing now and like. So you're saying the entire time that we've actually known you, you've been someone else.
Yes, I am in disguise, as it were. This was never meant to be told to any of you. Anyone at all, indeed. We've been keeping it quite secret. And only now that I am sure, in getting past your adolescence, that you are worthy of the highest secrets that our house can hold.
I think Vyse just looks to Valette and he's like, well, he certainly puts on a good act.
Yeah.
Is this like the last scene we see before we go into the Francine plan?
Yeah.
Feels so.
I mean, that's the big reveal that
Like,
we need to
there's
get
the
plan
reveal.
moving forward.
And I guess the specifics of it are just.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
maybe he's like, it's a good act, and I'm like doing the thing that,
Yeah.
that he did with like spinning his cane
Mhm.
by the top.
So
Yeah, and I think like I reach over and I put my hand over your hand and just like nod affirmatively, like this was the right decision.
Yeah. And we just like do like it's just like you guys, the two of you have always seen. She reaches over and puts my hand and like squeezes, and I like turn my hand over and squeeze her hand, and it's
Right.
just like it's always been, just supporting each other.
Yeah.
Like if it was a movie, it would be like a callback, like a frame by frame shot of an earlier scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. If this is a TV show, this would be the opening sequence. The show's intro would play, which will almost undoubtedly be set to the Cowboy Bebop theme song "Tank."
Yes.
And it'll be like the four of you running around solving problems, and then like different frames of each of you and explanations for like the Mistborn world in the background, just like Cowboy Bebop has, where it's like, yeah, Ska, Kandra, yeah. What's the first scene we see? Let's learn the secrets of House Trelbina and House Holfstag.
I think we get shots of like someone in Trelbina, like sweeping up ash and like listening in, and then we get like a couple other quick shots of like from far away of like Vyse and Valette like talking to people in dark corners and stuff. And then
Dark corners of where? Inside the Trelbina Manor?
yeah, maybe like
confused where
on the
this-
grounds. Yeah, like on the
Yeah,
grounds.
okay, so
Yeah.
you're within the walls. All right, interesting.
Like we're probably not fully in their keep, but we're definitely on their turf. Like maybe they have like a tenement building where they keep their workers. Then we're like talking to some people.
All right,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
interesting. All right, I have an opening scene here. And it's not that I'm going to be extremely descriptive with a character here, because I want fan art or anything. Hashtag. What do they call that
Oh,
in
you.
Japan? Sundare. Like, it's not like I want fan art or anything. Blush kawaii face. So we see Postwick strolling the grounds with a woman. Vyse and Valette aren't going to recognize her overly much. Since she hasn't been in the area for about 20 years. But Vyse notices something extremely specific about this woman. And Valette obviously notices something similar but different. She's very buxom and hourglass-figured, kind of the ideal noble that people are looking for in Luthadel, like the fashion. She's wearing an extremely long dress that covers all the way down to her ankles. The bottom of it is orange, and as it goes further up, it goes from orange to gray, and then at her waist, it goes from gray to like dark blue to purple to midnight black up over her bust, where it's covered in white dots. It's extremely distracting for Vyse for two reasons. First off, she's very beautiful, but second off, this is clearly a representation of the night sky. And the only people who can see this are either Tin Eyes or Mistborn. And the
I was
second
wondering
thing,
if the dress was white or orange or blue or black.
the second thing you notice is that she's wearing a mist cloak in pure daylight,
Oh,
which
that
is a
that is-
very definite indication that she's
Oh,
not just a
shit.
Mistborn, but someone who doesn't care if everyone knows. And so, for those that aren't aware, mist cloaks are cloaks made out of leather strips, like loops of leather that have been sewn together into a kind of a trench coat, cloak, over figure. When city guardsmen and noble guards and Ska see someone wearing this at night, they've been instructed to pretend that they don't know the person's there. Because that person is a Mistborn. They're the most powerful creatures possible. And you don't want to know that the person currently hanging out on top of your dung heap, waiting to assassinate a passing noble, is also the head of the house that owns you.
Yeah.
So they're instructed to pretend that they're not there. For this woman to be wearing it openly is a pretty big deal.
So I feel like if the moment I notice a misclosed, Vyse's tin just shuts off. Because he's like, that's dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Tux just listed a Mistcloak
Yep.
image. Yeah, that's a good one. I personally prefer the Duster one that Lord Waxillum Ladrian wears in Alloy of Law, but Duster Mistcloak, pretty much next level. Yeah. So, I mean, this dress is extremely provocative. It's got slits on both sides up to, like, the hips. And she's spending a lot of time with her arms linked into Postwick's arms. And she does look vaguely... There is some physical similarity between her and your Aunt Odalys. So maybe it's even more creepy to see him just be like, yes, yes, of course.
I think Valette's do in a very similar pose to when we first like saw her in this episode or whatever, just like leaning against the wall, like leg up, like arms crossed, and like I don't know if like Vyse is like standing next to her or something, but like she just like
Yeah.
I don't like her.
We should definitely go.
As you say that, you see Francine stalking. Almost, she looks a lot like Evelyn in this pose. She is wearing the same thing Evelyn wore at the party where you last saw Francine. She's wearing like tight men's trousers and like a tunic, and is stalking angrily over toward Vyse and Valette. What do you
We
want to do?
should definitely go.
No.
Valette's like, we should go, and then Francine's just, oh no, we're good.
Yeah, so I think if Francine's like coming up, Valette will just give like a friendly wave, and then just wait for her to get close.
Vyse, any thoughts? Maybe you want to run? Maybe you want to hide?
I would want to definitely do both of those things, but Valette's like, no, stay here. It's cool.
Are you
You're standing next to a
burning...
well. Would you like to dive into the well?
Are
Dive
you burning
well.
tin, Vyse?
Go
no, I
west.
turned it off when I saw the Mistborn. So
Okay,
it's
all right,
still-
interesting.
And then doubly off now that, I've already made the assumption
Double-checked.
that she is. Yeah, just double check. I'm making maybe I'm not burning it on accident or something because I found
turn
out
it
at
off.
a party that she knows how to manipulate that.
So it's like when you like park your car and you lock it and you walk up
Yeah.
like, did I actually lock my car? I need to go back and check.
Lock the doors twice.
So, yeah, Francine just grabs both of you by an arm and makes to drag you behind the barracks out of her uncle's like fog of war. What's the
Like,
plan? Are you gonna just let her pull you along?
I'm okay with leaving.
Yeah.
As soon as you're out of view sight of Postwick, she immediately starts smiling and just like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. My uncle doesn't like unexpected visitors, and I'm not really sure what you're doing here, but it's so good to see you both. I'm sorry about the business with my uncle. Just, I understand that he got the better of you. And she just smiles warmly at both of you and is like, so, is there something you need? Something we can do?
Yeah, we haven't seen you in a little while. Just figured we'd come by, visit, say hi, see how things are going.
I would have liked to visited you as well, Valette, but I've been very busy. My uncle has had us training.
Mm-hmm. We and I like look, do like a little like tiny motion and like nod my head at Vyse. We really wanted to see you again.
Yes, that is what we wanted to do. We wanted to see you here.
So what is the plan here? How are you going to get Francine on your side?
I think
Is it seduction, or are you going to try to trick her, or what? Like,
my thought was like they just like go do something for a little while, and then during this we'd like start laying like little like, oh yeah, while we were getting our house set back up, we made friends with an obligator, and like we heard some rumors about some stuff that was going to be going
Try
down
to get
soon.
information out of her before we try to persuade her.
all right, well, I'm ready to throw the first twist in here, and people who were watching the GM turn, the first one, I'm going to have to do a second one, and I'll figure out when that is during the break, but people who are watching the first GM turn might realize that this is coming along. So I think she's got both of you like pushed up against a wall, and she's got her hand on either side of both of your heads, and her head is like in between the both of you. And she's just like, so, you want to go fool around?
Vyse is
Vyse?
actually just bug-eyed right now.
I mean, she's not talking just to Vyse here.
Like, she's
Oh, yeah.
way too close
Valette
to
knows.
her. And, like, so then
I
he
think-
just sort of pans over to him and he's like, so who was with your uncle? That was weird. Who was he?
So she takes her hands off the
Because guys,
wall
right? That was weird.
and turns away from you, Vyse, and she seems extremely upset when you say that. She's like, ugh, it's that Risha woman. She just blew back into town after 20 years. It seems like everyone's coming out of the woodwork since Hare arrived. Ugh. Risha Mercer. Her father died under mysterious circumstances recently. My uncle was saying perhaps he died after Risha got back into town, although the official story is that she arrived for his funeral miraculously within a day. You probably don't know this. It's before you came into town here. I was just a baby when it happened as well, but Risha was publicly outed as a Mistborn, as a young woman, perhaps even younger than Valette and I here. And she spent the last 20 years in disgrace on a farm somewhere, or that's what they say. But I've seen her knives. She fights like an inquisitor. I don't know what she's been doing, but I'm not comfortable with her being so close to my uncle.
wearing
And
that
she
cloak
turns
out.
around and she hits you in the chest, Vyse, and it's like being hit by a sledgehammer when she hits you with one finger, and she's just like, don't get near her. She's not good for you, Vyse.
Right. Gotcha. Dangerous. Don't go near her. I will not do that.
Wearing that cloak out in broad daylight, I guess it's kind of cool, but yeah.
It kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
I know, but that's like, I don't know. I kind of like it. But Vyse, you never, what was it we were talking about before? We brought her up again?
We were talking about things. About
There was a question, and then I think we beat around the bush about it. But what was that question, Vyse?
So
I'm going to riot
Francine
Vyse.
turns away from Vyse and kind of narrows in on Valette and is like, this is getting very awkward, Valette. This isn't like you. You normally just speak your mind.
I want to riot Vyse.
Okay. What are you... I'll tell you what. Can you send me a whisper on Roll20 as to what it is you want to riot?
oh boy.
We're going to have to handle this a little bit behind scenes. Because of the way rioting works. It's a lot of typing. Should I be worried that this is going to be really, really involved? And are you just regularly rioting, or are you going to flare?
Just regular.
Okay.
Oh no, yeah. If I flared like
It'll
this
be
would-
obvious, right?
Well, that and if I succeed, Vyse is gonna have a bad day.
Well, also there's a Mistborn like around the corner, basically.
That's true.
I'm so worried, Tux, because you're still typing and you haven't sent it to me yet. There we go.
Do you get what I mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Vyse, just how into Francine are you? Like, on a scale of 1 to 5, how attracted are you to her?
Like on a physical level, or on like a she's really like creepy and invasive level.
Sure, both. Just describe... I'm okay with you describing your relationship to her in both arenas. How is it on a physical level?
On a physical level, probably a bit greater, because she's pretty much a noble woman. Not much in what she's wearing now, but I don't know if Vyse is kind of into that, because it looks different.
It's
And
and on a
some
on
shit
a
on
is
a-
personality level, it's like kind of like a it's like, I
Dating
mean,
your
I guess
sister?
she's nice enough, but she's really invasive.
Okay. All right. Uh yeah, this is going to be a difficulty 3 rioting, Valette.
Okay. Um. And then the writing is just a straight roll with the
Yep.
rating, right? Yep.
Yep.
5. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, your riot goes through. So let's see what happens here. You amplify the emotions. So you gain 1 point of die per outcome to charm or influence your victim. And you can throw a complication onto poor old Vyse here. I'm gonna suspect that one of them you might want to do would be to riot a sense of lust. Right? Is that
Yep.
okay?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So take a new temporary trait until the next scene of rioted lustfulness. So what's the plan now, Valette? You've successfully got Vyse worked up.
I think Valette's gonna like. She moves up and she moves closer, puts a hand around both of them, like an arm around both of them. And then just like Vyse, have you seen Francine's room? It's very nice actually. We should go see it right now.
I have not.
Yeah, it's
I have not
You
seen
still
the
have that-
inside of House Traubina either.
yeah, you still have
Maybe
that
she can give us a tour.
you still have that painting of the what was like the ash falling with in front of a mountain or something. It was
Yeah.
pretty
Francine's
impressive.
Like, oh, yes. The one I drew myself. You know, you really should come see my room, Vyse. I'd like to show you some additions I've made recently. And she, like, wraps her arm around each of you and begins dragging you into the house.
Of course.
So, the House of Traubina is an ancient and well thought of house. Its defenses have not been modernized. The outer wall is kind of what they normally would assume would be more than enough. The inside of the house is extremely cluttered with furniture. There's lots of metal everywhere in the forms of like metal statues, metal.
So you're telling us that there's fire safety issues? Lots of clutter, dry furniture.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Ah.
The whole house is made out of nearby quarried stone, probably like marble.
Trying my best
extremely
to like take everything in
luxurious.
while not burning tin. It's probably proving difficult.
There's lots of columns and like fine tapestries. There's a small chapel at the end of the ballroom that depicts the darkness and all of the lessons you've learned from the Steel Ministry about faith. Francine just kind of moves past that room as quickly as possible to take you to her room on the 3rd floor. It's a very posh room, lots of like really soft carpeting. The bed is way larger than it should be. It's one of those like 4-poster, almost like Harry Potter beds. But above the bed posting, there's like mirrors on the ceiling, which Valette, the last time you were here, you did not see those.
Where are there mirrors?
Oh.
Why?
And there's like a sitting room before you enter her room, and after she shows you the painting, Vyse, and like stands uncomfortably close next to you, with her arm draped over your shoulder, she's just like, Yes, I made this myself almost 2 years ago. I feel like it really represents the starkness of life and how in the end we will all return to the sliver of infinity.
It's beautiful,
Uh,
isn't it, Vyse?
Indeed, if not a fair bit morbid. You should pursue your artistic talents more.
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you so much. She drags you both over into her sitting room and pours each of you a glass of wine, and it's like, so, you wanted to see my room, Valette, Vyse? I trust you
Vyse-
find it impressive.
Just instantly down the entire glass of wine.
Yeah,
I
Valette's
wonder
ba-
if we might cut over to a scene with either Odalys or KinSay talking to an
Yeah.
informant.
Definitely.
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
to an informant of some kind to
Sure.
attack from a second angle this
Um,
problem
Sure.
of
Yeah, I
looking
actually
for-
had an idea during that scene that I wanted to do.
all right.
Since we have a new guard, I was thinking we maybe go to like one of these houses, probably go to Holstag and be like, we need to hire your like trainer
You
so,
want to
like-
hire their like man at arms to train
our new people, and then I will observe him very closely.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
All right. I think there's specific rules on how you need to do that, right? For
Oh.
mimicry,
Possibly.
you have to spend a certain amount of time to mimic someone correctly.
Like 4.
Playing Conjure 255. I'm just trying to mimicry power. Okay, so mimicry rules. You have a mimicry rating, mimic a target, blah blah blah.
Minus 5.
It's the amount of time you've studied a target. So, if this goes down correctly, you will have an unfamiliar understanding of Wolfram, having observed him for an hour or more. Yeah. All right.
Ooh, I think the plan, as I understood it, was you were going to hire this. So hold on. Was your plan to hire this guy away from one of our rival houses, get him to train our troops while you observe him, then impersonate him after he's done training our troops and go back and infiltrate the other house?
Yeah, well, I think mainly also to like incite violence. At like some point, we're gonna need like a tipping point,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll need to be able to have people available for me to mimic and
Mm-hmm.
go like incite violence.
Interesting.
So I want to spend as much time as we hire this guy for, spend the time with him training the troops and be like, yeah, I always do this, but obviously I can't do it myself. I'm not a professional.
All right.
So maybe we get a scene of me like at either training with this guy or trying to get him to.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to hire him away from Holstag, right? That's a thing you can do. If you want to go with resources, that's a difficulty 3 resources test after you convince Holstag that it's a good idea. So, do we have a scene of KinSay wearing his artural bones showing up at the front door of Keep Holstag?
Yes, yeah, that sounds great. And I'm like, with my, I probably have like a carriage to take me over there, right?
Sure. I mean, do you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
a carriage as part of your props?
No, maybe I rent one to make it look fancy.
Yeah, you can spend a resources and make a resources test to get a carriage. Are you full on props actually?
Oh, actually, I am full. I can't carry anything. I can
I mean, so if you weren't
Right.
full on props, you could
buy a.
just
slot.
buy it. But you're gonna have to make a roll. So let's see here. Difficulty of
My
carriage and horses.
spent
3.
resources come back, right? After
Yes,
the
it'll
loss.
come back at a
So I
short
have-
breather or a long breather.
So I have 3.
Yeah. So you would need to get a 3 on 3 dice. But you could certainly throw some traits in there if you wanted to.
up my traits or not.
I don't think any of your traits are going to apply, actually.
Yeah. I'll go for it though. I'll go down and go down to town and look at carriages, and maybe maybe I'll get a used
So
one and I'll
there's like a
patch it out.
very well-to-do merchant ska, which is extremely rare, like a middle-class ska, by the name of Grable, who wears a very fine hat and cloak, but has like peasant ska clothing, and the cloak is rather like tattered at the edges. It's clear that it's getting kind of worn, but the hat seems new. And he taps his dueling cane on the ground and is like, "Welcome to Grable's, my lord. So I've served everyone from House Venture to House... Well, I mean, once you serve House Venture, you don't need to serve anybody else. What can I do for you, Lord Martell, is it?"
Yes, House Martell is actually in the market for something to ride along the city in. Not too fancy, but of well built.
I see. Well, we could certainly arrange for a temporary carriageman to take you from place to place. Horses, as you know, are rather expensive to upkeep, however. Very hard to beat them. I don't mean to inquire too deeply into your house finances, my lord, but do you have enough credit to cover such an expense?
Look, I am sure that we can work something out.
Okay. Well,
2 nudges.
you can't, and you can cancel both of the complications.
Okay.
Actually, you still have a complication on
I
that.
do still have a complication.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a carriage and horse today.
I think you and Grable go over the finances for a little while, and he comes back to you after going into the back room and says, I'm sorry, my lord. I've recently spoken with someone from the Canton of Finance, and I'm afraid that the funds you wanted to move are no longer available. They've been placed in escrow. You're going to have to talk to Saragius at the Canton of Finance. I realize this is somewhat embarrassing for you, my lord, but I promise I will tell no one of this if you promise to come back here next time your carriage needs served. Or really anything. Right here at Grable's, we can get you anything you need, my lord.
Okay.
Anything.
Anything.
Anything at Grable's.
Excellent.
Anything.
Thank you so much for your politeness in the matter. I appreciate your candor and your keeping my private business private. I will surely be returning as soon as I've straightened out this mess over at the canton.
So he does the bow where he like crosses one leg in front of the other and then like doffs his hat to you and holds that position until you leave the room.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Well
he's
done,
very much
Merchant
a
Scott.
courtier.
Yeah.
He wants your business.
Only you knew someone with resources 6.
So I think the next scene is you walking to keep Holfstrag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the gate guards stop you outside. They're both haze killers. And I don't know that you recognize them. They seem like new to their job. They're both like clutching their wooden swords rather oddly. It looks like they
Is it in
haven't
front
had
of the
time to
canton
customize
of,
their grips yet.
This is at the canton of not ministry, but
Did you want to go to the Canton of Finance instead? I thought all of this was to get you to
it's fine.
Holstag, but you can go to the Canton of Finance if you want to follow.
No, maybe we're like at Holstag, and I almost get like run over by a carriage.
with the gray bell insignia on the side of it.
Yeah. I like stumble through their gate.
Yeah, I think that in slow motion we see the carriage pass, and inside is Risha Mercer, like watching you as she goes past. We have some fan art from Aerocyto. Let me just take a look at it. He says, hopefully it isn't too NSFW.
Ooh.
You get some AP
No,
after
we're
dark up
good.
in here.
We're good.
You're gonna
Oh,
have to
boy.
drop that in chat or somewhere.
Yeah,
boys.
no, here you go. I'm going to throw it in Roll20 as well. That dastardly hound.
Awesome.
You can tell Postwick has one thing on his mind for sure. For sure. Perfect.
Oh,
For those that
Definitely.
don't
The poor
know,
ska
Alyssa is
women
the
we sold to
ska
Postwick.
that,
You can't stop thinking about those 2 big glasses of wine.
Alyssa is the ska that Postwick Trelbina was intentionally trying to buy. That had a very similar outlook to life, very similar look to Odalys.
Yeah.
She was trying to entice him to purchase. He did, and he bought all the rest of their ska as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, Risha Mercer goes darting past in her carriage, Miss Cloak flapping out the sides of the carriage as KinSay's nearly run over. And maybe we see that she's, like, riding the driver. We get that, like, pink aura that you can only see on the TV screen, indicating she's riding the shit out of him.
don't
And
drive
the house guards, yeah, with their non-customized grips on their wooden swords, they're like trying to hold them properly, but their armor and their hands, they're just not used to holding these swords for hours on end. And one of them stops and says, "What's your business here?"
I need to talk to the trainer of House Guard, actually.
I'm sorry, you need what?
The
You need to talk to the traitor of House Guard.
Yes, I have.
You need to talk to a traitor of our House
trainer.
Guard.
The
A
trainer.
trainer. A trainer of the House Guard.
Look, whoever was supposed to be telling you how to hold that weapon is who I'm trying to speak with.
They sound like they're from Oliver Twist.
Are you what? Listen, if you want to come in here, you need the permission of Lord Wolfram Hofstag or one of his family members.
Very well. Why don't you let Wolfram himself know that Lord Martell is here? I'd love to speak with him.
Oh, did you
About the
say your
safety of
name
our
was Lord
houses.
Martell?
Yes.
Lord Arturo Martell.
Yes.
So, yeah, he begins, like, snapping with the hand that's, like, there's giant wooden shields that they have, and he's, like, snapping with that hand at the second guard. And they begin opening the doors. He's like, "Of course, my lord, go on through."
Yeah, and I stride in, taking long steps with my dueling cane, tapping it on the ashy, like walkway
This doesn't
made of
bode
brick.
well.
I'm just assuming that I'm getting the respect I deserve. So I stride in, and maybe are they like coming with me, or are they staying where they were?
They're closing the door behind you and staying where they are.
Okay.
When you go onto House Wolfstag lands, it's much the same as the last time Valette saw them. There's a very well manicured front lawn with a pathway leading into this kind of gothic, gaudy house, very much suited for parties. But right now, there's like 30 guardsmen training with like 4 haze killers, and a very, very like almost Colossian-sized man, just standing in front and like, "You think you can come here to House Hofstag and be good enough for Fenric? You aren't good enough for Fenric at all. You think that you can be trained by the greatest swordsman in all of Earthview. You are nothing, you maggots." And all the guards are like using spears to like train and thrust at each other, and the haze killers are practicing like one of like the house allomancers is like shooting coins at them, and they're like, "Ah, ah, ah!" And the allomancers pushing on like metal around the courtyard to quickly zip to one side and like fire a coin at an oblique angle, and like constantly moving and jumping through the air using the power of their allomancy to push against metals, and like shooting coins from above. And all the guardsmen are like, "Ah, ah, ah!" And this huge guardsman, Fenric, is like going between all of them, occasionally like catching coins from the air like a cat. He's just like bam, bam,
Nice.
and just like insulting everyone within the in the way. A Wolfram Holstag wearing a giant like fur draping fur coat of like white with flecked gray fur and like a huge trench coat, very fine silk pants, and a tunic comes out and is like, ha ha ha, Arturo Martel, I didn't think I'd see you outside your house ever again. The shame, old boy, the shame. I figured you'd be by here sooner rather than later, though.
Well, you know how it is. You have a bad night at a party. You spend a little bit of time at home nursing your wounds. I thought I'd come by, say hi. Let it be known that no hard feelings, of course.
No hard feelings either. I'm just celebrating a little at your, recent demise. But your girl there, Valette, did cut me a rather savage one at the last party we attended, so
Oh, these
all's fair in, war.
yes, these young ones are quite sharp these days.
So
Although
he does like the we're best friends, even though we don't really know each other that well. He just wraps his arm around you and is like, "Come, is there something I can offer you? The House Hofstag is open to you, my friend Martel."
excellent. Yes. I was admiring your training in the front. Quite an operation you have there.
Yes, Fenric. Ah, yes. Recently picked him up from one of the minor houses. The good lurcher,
Lurcher.
iron burner, Alamancer, all that sort of humdrum.
Yes, it looks about as strong as a Koloss as well. Impressive man. I could use someone of his talents over at my household. As you know, we did have quite a big loss of talent lately, but we've been doing what we can to get back into business. Although, frankly, feels a little unsafe sometimes at the house. I hear uneasy rumors around the city these days. It's been quite peaceful, but all houses know preparation is best, and I nod back towards the training grounds.
So yeah, he sits you down at a table of like the finest woods, and this is not a world where like fine trees grow on a regular basis. So this is a very expensive table, and he has his glasses of wine set out, and like fresh food comes out, like things that couldn't possibly have been ready for your visit. Like they must have just been like baking something, just in case visitors stop by. This is the kind of wealth that Holstag offers his visitors. They bring out like freshly baked pies of like meat and whatever like blueberry analog this world has, some sort of fruit. And drink
Snosberries.
Yeah,
just a
pours
slightly
you some
sweet
wine, and he's
gray
like, "Sit,
mush.
sit, let's talk." Well, I suppose I can offer you the name of my old trainer before Fenric, although I have to be clear, the fact that he's my previous trainer should be some indication of his level of quality. Not to say that he's bad, it's just everyone wants Fenric, of course. Man's built like a wall of iron.
Yes. There's perhaps a deal we could work out. I don't suppose you could spend a few weeks without him. I mean, right now it seems like you've got quite an impressive force. Are you fearing for your life lately?
So, when you say that, he like chokes on his wine, like, what? No, just preparing. There's been talks. Did you know Risha Mercer's back in town?
Yes, I, had heard the rumors.
Yes. You probably would know of her.
Okay.
I think that maybe Arturo Martel and Risha Mercer were like promised to each other 20 years ago. When they were like teenagers, their houses were like, yeah, let's do this.
Okay.
Of course
And
they were.
after she disappeared, it became clear that they were going to need someone else, and that's where Odalys stepped in.
That makes sense. That sounds
yeah.
like Odalys's deal.
So KinSay would be aware of it because it was a thing that happened in his past, even if he doesn't know personally of Rita Mercer.
Yeah, so I reply, yes, and knowing when someone's in town and not knowing why has been putting quite a lot of people feeling the little bit of stress that they haven't normally.
They say, and by they I mean some informants my house has within House Mercer, that she arrived a few hours before her father died. They also say his body was covered in knife wounds, that he didn't die of natural causes.
Yes. It is hard when you're just going by the rumors. Maybe she will be invited over to the house. I may have another small soiree sometime.
That's
Perhaps
interesting
you'd
to
like
hear,
to
Arturo. I'm glad to hear it. It's part of the reason I had my house guards pass you through the gate. Can I be straightforward with you, my good man?
Oh, yes.
For some time I've known about Risha's return. And I realized she was once close with you. Having her as a friend would be good for House Hofstag. And so having you as a friend would be good for House Hofstag. And so, I think we can work something out. I've
Perhaps
expended my house guard sufficiently, I think, to deal with any venture issues. I believe if we were to work out a deal, I could loan you the use of Fenric for a month.
Excellent, yes, and perhaps then during that time, if you small soirees, a cup of tea with oh shit, what's her name? Risha?
Risha.
Yeah. A cup of tea, small sit downs, friendly stuff. Nothing over the top. Personal.
I see. I have only one request to make of you.
And what would that be, Wolf?
On top of the funds, of course. A public apology from your young woman, Valette. Perhaps at one of these soirees.
Ah, yes. Perhaps she does owe you a...
Specifically in front of Postwick Tralbina.
Okay.
Is this something we can agree on?
Yes. I have quite a firm hand over the house, and what I say does go. Thanks, Kelsa. Okay, that's
I'm
great.
trying to figure out whether you want to... So you're not going to be buying this guy's tutor, which is good, because it would be a difficulty 3 test again. You're trying to use your influence to get granted access. Yeah. It'll be 3.
Okay.
There's some risk involved here. Are there any traits that you want to call upon? Any situational... I mean, you're making a contract, so I think contract fulfillment tangentially
that I'll go through.
applies.
Yeah, that I'll do everything I can to.
Your word is your bond.
Yeah, I'm making my word, so it's going to happen if it's possible for me to make it happen. All right, so that's 1 extra. Okay, 5d6. What's my target? Do you say 3?
3.
I need a pair of 3s. No.
Okay. Yeah, you still get Fenric Ironbrother. I want to do the same thing as before. There's complications I want to offer, but they'll be secret if you will let me do that.
Okay. That's
Like,
fine.
there are complications that it'll be obvious later that I'm springing them on you, or maybe not so obvious. Either way, there are two complications that immediately arise, both of them relating to Fenric. So at the end of this, perhaps at the bit you like, as a observer of the human form, you definitely sense a bit of like false bonhomie. He's being way more comraderic towards you than he should be, especially since you've like failed to come through on everything that you promised to give him. You're like, yeah, we could, arrange a party here, and then it's like, oh no, of course, no one likes you in that house. We can't invite anyone there. I'll give you one of the complications is that as part of this deal, you will have to host a soiree for him, the Venture, the Mercer, and the Postwick House.
Yeah.
And Valette has to apologize in front of Postwick there. So that is one of the two complications that get thrown on you. Yeah. Do we want to cut back to Vyse and Valette? Actually, we're kind of at a break time here. Are we good?
Yeah, we just hit the
Sure.
hour.
It's a good time for a break, yeah.
It is a good
Yeah,
time
sure.
for a break.
And I think
When we
the
come back,
scene
we'll see if
come back
Odalys
to-
is doing
yeah.
anything, and then if not, we'll jump back to Vyse and Valette. So, we'll take a 7-minute break here, and then we'll be back for another 2 hours. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to check in the description section for the votes, and check out that Aerocyto, B. Costa, B. Curvello. I don't even know what to call him anymore. There's just so many names. Fan
The awesome
art.
guy whose name
of-
starts with a B.
Yeah,
Yep.
fan art of Alyssa. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
it's
a good
it's
one.
way funnier to me than it should be, but it becomes rapidly obvious the one trait Postwick looks for in a woman. And with that thought, we'll be back shortly.